when you go to the 5-star chefs, the chef, like usually like when I'm not busy, I usually like watching the 5-star chefs cooking. When you look at them while they are cooking and ask them, 99% of their outcome, they will certainly tell you that it depends. It comes from the rare ingredients that they use, and it also comes from the freshness of the ingredients that they use. That's why the outcome of their meals is usually the delicious, yeah, and that's why it is usually delicious. I mean, and that's why most of them are being ranked among the best chefs. You see, so the tools that they use to cook, the ingredients that they use to cook is what makes their meals being ranked amongst the top of the cream, the top of the list. So guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to talk about Great Bible Study being supported by tools. When you look at these 5-star chefs, the tools that they usually use and the ingredients that they apply is what makes their meals to be amazing, is what will make their meals have a strange taste because of the far-fetched ingredients. Maybe some of the meals come from islands. Some of the ingredients come from islands. Some of them comes from very very far and wide places of this universe. Compare yourself. You are the chef. You as a student of Christ, you are the chef, and the ingredients are the tools that you use to meditate on the word of God. So when you look at it, we see that a man is as good as his tools. As a student of Christ, if you use good tools that are rich, that are fresh, if you use good tools, absolutely the outcome will become positive. But if you use bad tools, when you compare to the chef, if the chef use ingredients that are fresh, the meal will be tasty, the meal will be amazing. But if the chef uses ingredients that are stale, some of them that are maybe have dried out, maybe that doesn't have even any nutrients in it, the meal won't be ranked as the 5-star chefs. So the same way as a student of Christ, if you use tools that are bad, absolutely these tools, they will mislead you and they will lead you to distraction. So even as we look at Timothy urges us to become workers who are able to rightly handle the word of truth. And how is he trying to show us? How is he trying to urge us to be workers who are able to handle the word of truth? And there are two ways that Timothy is trying to show us here. The first one is that we should discover the tools available to us to help us understand the Bible. And the second one is pray that God will lead us to a godly mentor to help us use the tools. You see, so the first one is to discover the tools available, and I'd always advise you that even as a student of Christ, don't go, there are these commentaries, there are maps, there are Bibles, there are encyclopedias, there are dictionaries. I'd advise you that you should go for, as in the number one tool I would advise you to go for is the simplest Bible version. You see, because if you use a simple translation, let's say you maybe take a King James version of 1974, the English is complex there, and even as a student of Christ, you are trying to understand what God wants of us. We are trying to understand it, and that's why I'd advise you to use a translation that is easier. We have Good News Bible, we have the Revised Standard Version, we have the Gideon's International. Don't go for the versions that will confuse you. Even you can use the Bible app. It's called the U Bible app too. to find these versions, because there are dozens of them in that application. And there is treasure in the word of God. There is treasure in the word of God, just fitting for those who are willing to go after it. If you're willing to go after the word of God, there is treasure in it. You don't you won't be someone who's looking for a treasure that can never be found, maybe in a lost island. When you choose to follow Christ, know that there is treasure. When you choose to meditate on the word of God, know that there is treasure that you are after. And absolutely at the end of it all, you will get the treasure. You see. And also, even as we continue with the tools that we are using, if you want to take a Bible study to the next level, but you're not sure where to start, you should choose one of your favorite verses and write 5 of different translations of it. And after writing the 5 different translations of one of your favorite verses, then compare the differences and similarities. This while you are doing this will be one of the best tools that you have, even as a person. You write your one of your favorite verses. You take the King James version, New International Version, Good News Bible version, Gideon's version, and then you compare them. After comparing, you notice the difference, the similarities. As in, it will be easier for you to get the message of the verse, rather than just reading one verse, that verse in one translation, and then you let it be like that. But if you compare it with other different translations, you will understand. At least you'll have an insight of what it's trying to mean, to drive towards you. So in 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15, and it says, "Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightly by handling the word of truth." Guys, we should always try very much to serve God in a way that makes Him happy. Then, if we serve God in a way that makes Him happy, He will accept us as a good worker that He can trust. And we must teach God's true message correctly. Then we will have no reason to be ashamed of our work. 2 Timothy, he's urging us. Let me just repeat the verse. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. "Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of the truth." If you are a worker of Christ, and the things that you do things according to God's will, you will never be ashamed of it. Because when you have courage, people will follow you. But when you are trying to translate the Bible, when you are trying to teach the Bible in a way that it only pleases you, you are a worker of Christ. But you want to translate it in a way that you want to interpret it, to the people, to the people who don't know much about the Bible, not the people that you are presenting to. If you miss the mark, if you miss the point, and you start making them deviate from the word of God, you will be ashamed of your work. And God will not approve even as His servant, who He can trust. You see. So you should strive to always interpret and to teach the word of God correctly as it is written. Don't make the word of the Lord, don't turn it into a tool that are going to use to justify your evil means, that are going to use to justify the things that you have, the wrongs that you have done. So you want to interpret it in a way that it's going to favor you. You see.